make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop.
Sense of me, you will never stop the free. Thinking that's gonna shut you down. Post the truth, they go to town. Sense of me, kick me off of every platform. I'll just go to get a gab and rumble. Now you can't stop me. I think we all see it, but cannot believe it. The glint in our eyes as we look at the sky to see that it's falling and people are calling. I think we all know that the end is nigh. But how can it be? The people is me. I posted a tweet and it got deleted. Don't look at me like I'm conceited. If you conceded, then tell me why you stuck on the YouTube, then on the Facebook, calling it meta. We fed it the cheese, I mean fed it with cheese. They wanna release all of your data to screw up your piece. They censor me, then take liberty. Don't even let me post up with the need. Album to blast, they gonna ban that. Take it off, genius, you can't even read the lyrics of Brandon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned in to this very special Friday edition of the Chandler Brief, where the dress code is, of course, business casual. Now, it has been an amazing week, if I do say so myself, of a lot of people standing up for what they believe in, and a lot of tyrants and governmental people standing up for what they believe in as far as shutting down the people that believe in things. And we have plenty of examples of stories of that today, but first things first, I want to make a major announcement, and that is that the Chandler Brief will no longer be streaming on my main YouTube channel. So if you've been subscribed to my main YouTube channel for years now, and I know the majority of you people are watching me over there, this channel has unfortunately been murdered by YouTube. So the channel will soon get a new name, which will be the Chandler Crump Archive, and only archived footage and things like that will be available on this channel. But all future episodes of the Chandler Brief and Crump Live will exclusively be available on Rumble, Getter, and my brand new YouTube channel, of which you guys can check out by hitting up the description and hitting the link at the bottom, which will take you to my Rumble channel, or the YouTube channel, of which you can go to the channel section of my YouTube, and you will see the brand new channel. So before we get started with our topics of the day, I want to walk you through exactly how you can check out my brand new channel. So once you visit my normal YouTube channel, which is right here, you will see 46,000 subscribers. Very proud of building that up over the years, but unfortunately YouTube is not a fan of this content. So if you want to check out my brand new YouTube channel, you hit channels here, and if you're on mobile, it will be like a sliding thing, and then you hit Crump Live, and then you subscribe, and this is our brand new channel. And so this will allow us to once again be monetized, once again get notifications. In fact, I got notification of my own stream. This is the first time this has happened to me in years. And so my brand new stream right here, this one you're watching right now, I got a notification for it. So it appears my original YouTube channel, which is this one, which is just Chandler Crump with this picture, has been killed by YouTube. So if you want to watch all of my brand new Chandler Briefs starting next Monday, they will exclusively be available here on this YouTube channel or here on my Rumble channel. If you aren't familiar with Rumble, it's an alt-tech platform that allows you to gain access to all of my content without dealing with any restrictions, no hiding of notifications, no shadow bans, and no cancel culture. So if you want to gain access to all this content, all of it is available in the description or by visiting the channels tab and checking out our brand new Crump Live channel. And before we continue on, I want to give a big thank you to my friend Let's Be Frank, who also has a massive YouTube channel, and he gave me a big shout out by shouting out my brand new YouTube channel. So big thank you to Let's Be Frank, and shout out to anybody who came from him. And Ozzy Tomasi says Rumble is not it, Chief. Hey man, I go to as many platforms as I can. I'm on Getter, I'm on Rumble, I'm on YouTube, and we're gonna move ourselves to more platforms very soon. Whatever opinion you may have, I'm on as many platforms as I can get on. But jumping stick to the new YouTube channel. All right, well, once I get banned on that YouTube, because it'll happen one day, I hope you at least join me on Rumble, because I don't want to lose you. I love my people here on YouTube. But jumping along to our brand new subjects of the day, because as you guys know, we've got 30 minutes to to wrap up the subject of the day, I'll give these first 5 minutes to the air. So we have 30 minutes starting now. Jumping into our first subject of the day, the Premier of the province of Ontario warns protesters of severe consequences as he then pledges his province to a state of emergency. His province does include the capital city of Ottawa. So let's just jump in and see, what is this man talking about?
We're now 2 weeks into the siege of the city of Ottawa. I call it a siege because that's what it is. It's an illegal occupation. This is no longer a protest. With a protest, you peacefully make your point and you go back home. And I know that the vast majority of the people did that. They came, they peacefully demonstrated, they made their point, and they left.
Fake news.
My message to those still in Ottawa, to those at our border crossings, please go home. To those of you who have brought your children, please take them home. I urge you, it's time to leave. And it's time to do so peacefully. But to the very small groups who have chosen to take a different path, to those who have chosen to take a city of 1 million people hostage for the past 2 weeks, to those who've attempted to disrupt our way of life by targeting our lifeline for food, fuel, and goods across our borders, to those trying to force a political agenda through disruption, intimidation, and chaos. My message to you is this: your right to make a political statement does not outweigh the right of hundreds of thousands of workers to earn their living. It does not outweigh our right to get food across our borders. Your right to make a political statement does not outweigh the rights of 1 million people in Ottawa to live peacefully, free of harassment and chaos in their own homes.
So basically what this guy is saying is, you have a right to protest, but if it means I can't get my Starbucks and new iPhone, we've got a problem. Because this guy is forgetting one thing. It is not just random people showing up to the capital of Canada. It is truckers that are showing up. And I'm willing to bet this guy who, I think he had to campaign for his position. He's done plenty of work in politics. He said the same old lamestream thing of which truckers, farmers, this, that, different group are the backbone of our nation. They're the backbone of our constitutional monarchy. I was about to say republic/democracy, but I guess they do things a little differently in Canada. But they're the backbone of what our nation is on. Meanwhile, he's turning his back on the right to protest of those that are the backbone. Because it's not just random people showing up, not just random political pundits and random political activists that are showing up and making their voices heard, like what happened in June of 2020 in America and across the world even, but it is truckers, because truckers were uniquely targeted and uniquely harassed. And they are not just standing up for their own targeting, they are actually standing up for all of it. They're standing up against all of the vaccine passports. So I want to jump in a little bit and see what he's talking about in this article here. Ontario Premier Doug Ford declared a state of emergency Friday in the Canadian province while asking protesters angry over COVID restrictions to go home and end their blockades. Ford gave them a stern warning to protesters in Ottawa and at the Ambassador Bridge, saying he would press for new legislation Saturday to crack down on their demonstrations against COVID-19 restrictions and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. We're now 2 weeks into the siege of the city of Ottawa, Ford said at a press conference. I call it a siege because that's what it is. It's an illegal occupation. Protesters typically make their point and then head back home, but those who remained in Ottawa and at the bridge linking Detroit to Windsor, Ontario, were illegally disrupting the nation's economy, Ford said. I don't know how not working is illegally disrupting the economy, but whatever. Moving on a little bit, he said, my message to those still in Ottawa, to those at our border crossings, please go home. To those of you who have brought your children, please take them home. I urge you, it is time to leave. So it appears he's quite desperate to make his voice heard. Quite desperate to say, enough is enough, keep everything going, don't stop. But this is why the protesters and truckers are still going, because they are being heard. Now, this, of course, isn't necessarily in Canada. We've talked about the Canadian things in previous episodes. If you want to see all of our previous episodes, check out on Rumble. They're all available there. And also, big shout out to our huge audience watching over on Rumble. I don't know what's happening, but we've got a ton of people. So if you're over on Rumble, make sure you subscribe and also smash that Rumble button. Thank you for tuning in. But touching on a story we touched on yesterday, Steve Sislyak of Nevada, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. It's either Sisolak or Sislyak. I've heard both. But Steve Sislyak in Nevada has ended the mask mandate effective immediately. We won't jump too far into this because we covered this yesterday, but this part of his actually of ending the mask mandate was actually ending it in schools. And in fact, if I can find that part of the article, so the governor's decision was effective immediately except at schools where the masking requirement was to stay in place through Thursday to avoid disrupting the school day. So this is actually, he ended the mask mandate on, was it February 10th? So that's yesterday, but it's the mask mandate at school stayed until yesterday. So now it is Friday. And so this video, I believe, is probably recorded from yesterday, saying that tomorrow, which is today, time is funny, isn't it? These are students reacting to the brand new news that the day that they are sitting in here wearing the masks will be the last day that they will ever have to do it. Let's watch this.
Starting tomorrow, we don't have to wear masks anymore!
I might cry. Did you see this little boy right here? He starts jumping and he's like, wait, I don't even have to do this. He starts pulling the mask down to jump up and down. This kid right here. They're so happy. And I want you guys to take note of another thing. These kids are very young. Look at them. They couldn't be any older than first graders, second graders. In fact, I think the tweet said they are kindergartners, or I think Courtney Holland's original tweet says that about kindergartners, and we don't need to go back and look through that. But either way, they couldn't be any older than maybe 6 or 7, which means that they got into kindergarten, assuming they aren't in kindergarten, in schools while the mask mandate was just beginning or had been raging for months. So these kids have never gone to school without masks. They have only been able to see their fellow classmates and teachers in masks. They have gone through the beginning of their lives not being able to see 50% or maybe even 60%, their faces are small, 60% of other kids' faces. So they are finally getting to free themselves from this cage that has been these mask mandates. I want to move my camera over here so you can see some of the kids down here as well. They're so happy. And rightfully so. They should be so happy that they are finally free from this madness and this mess. Which just proves that the truckers are doing something right. Which makes sense as to why more and more truckers are beginning to stand up. We've got plenty more stories we're going to be jumping into, but before I do, I want to remind you that this show is 100% supported by viewers like you. So if you're interested in supporting our content moving forward, I want to remind you that all options to support me are available in the description. Be sure to visit our website donor box where you can donate to support our content and actually join our donor wall. That shouldn't be there. Let me move that over. Join our donor wall where you can see donations. I've also placed recent donors up here. So Inespo, Adam Krigler, they're also visible here on the donor wall. So if you're interested in supporting our content so that we can keep it going and keep going on with more and more briefs and videos like these, then make sure you visit donorbox.org/support-Chandler to learn more about your options to support our content. Big shout out to everybody who's tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. Once again, reminding you guys that this will be the very last stream available on my main YouTube channel, which I think a good amount of you are watching. We've got like 20 people watching on the main channel. So if you want to stay watching our content, make sure you jump on over to our brand new channel, which will be free from censorship for, well, as long as YouTube lets it be free. So make sure you check in the description and visit our brand new channel, and you will see it in the channels tab. It'll be right, once I go back, it'll be here. So this is the Chandler Crump channel. You just scroll until you hit the channels tab and then subscribe to Crump Live. This is where all of our live streams and Chandler briefs will be available to see right now. And then the last message before we continue on with our stories, I want to remind you that our show is sponsored by MyPillow. So if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these amazingly comfortable pillows, make sure you go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP for an amazing discount. And right now, for a limited time only, they're actually running a fantastic promotion on Giza Dream Suits. You can get these up to 60% off. The original price of these is something like $120 or so, but right now, with code CRUMP, you can get these amazing sheets, which will fit any bed and fit with anything else. You've got plenty of color options for $40, which in my opinion is a pretty good deal, but hey, I don't buy many sheets myself quite yet, so I can't speak for it, but I think that's a pretty good deal. And plus, you're supporting an amazing patriot and Mike Lindell. You're supporting MyPillow, which is a great company which stands for traditional Christian culture, I guess, and you're also supporting me. So if you want to support me while getting something out of it, make sure you go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP for your very own savings on My Pillow products. But touching on a little bit more as to how many people are starting to stand up, you may have heard recently in one of our previous stories that they are actually starting their own convoy even in Europe. But this is something that happened. The Paris Police Authority has banned a freedom convoy and COVID protests from occurring within their city limits. Freedom convoys of motorists, actually let me zoom in a little more so you guys can see it better, that have set off from half a dozen French cities in protest against the country's COVID restrictions will not be allowed to enter Paris, the capital's police authority has said. The stated objective of these demonstrations is to block the capital by preventing road traffic from circulating in order to further their demands. Because of the risk to public order, these protests will be banned from from the February 11th to 14th, it said, adding the penalties for blocking public roads included 2 years in prison, a fine of 4,500 euros, and a 3-year driving ban. My gosh. Convoys of cars, vans, and motorbikes left Nice in the southeast, Bayonne in the southwest, Strasbourg in the northeast, and Cherbourg in the northwest, among other cities, for Paris on Wednesday and Thursday, inspired by a 2-week truckers demonstration in Canada, of which has accomplished many of its goals. Check back in our previous stories to learn more about that. Canadian drivers protesting against testing and vaccine rules have blockaded the busiest bridge on the country's border with the U.S. and paralyzed the capital, Ottawa. Similar protests have taken place in Australia and New Zealand. There will be a special deployment of officers to prevent blockages of major roads, issue tickets, and arrest those who contravene this protest ban. I actually have video of these officers who are deploying from Paris. As you can see, this is the iconic, I think this is the Seine River. I might be wrong, I might be right, but this is how you can tell this is Paris, and of course it's a little cold right now, so you can see everything. I think there's some snow over there, but these are the convoys of police driving through to make sure that there is no truckers' protest and nobody stopping the business of what is happening in the Paris capital. Or the capital, Paris. So here they are driving through. There's a ton of them. And then I believe that's actually heading out of the city so that they can meet the protesters of which are on their way. This is big. And it is happening everywhere. So many people are standing up that police are starting to get real weird about it. Real weird about it. Heading out everywhere they can. But it's not just truckers. It is not just older generations. The youth are standing up as well. In Steinbach, Manitoba, in Canada, they have staged a walkout during school to protest mandates and mask mandates. I think protest vaccine mandates and mask mandates. And here it is, right here. And you're going to hear in a second, they're actually cheering for them. That is a lot of students. Look how cold it is, too. It is snowing like crazy because it is Manitoba, Canada, which is pretty far north up in Canada, if I'm remembering correctly. So, of course, there's a lot of snow. It's Canada, one of the coldest countries in the world. But not even only in Canada. It's happening in America as well. We've covered a few of these in previous episodes as well. But here's one that happened just today. And it's happening, honestly, technically right now because this is only, 10 a.m. So it's been a few hours. I guess the school's more than likely out where it is, but still. This is a walkout happening. Look at that. Whew. Wow. Even the kids that are still volunteering to wear masks are out there protesting with those that don't. Because believe it or not, even some people who are still pro-mask and people who still want that right to wear a mask wherever they need to for their own safety and their own preferences, sometimes support people not wearing masks. And I know a few people who would prefer to wear masks that are also like, the mask is just, it makes me comfortable, it's for my safety. I support your right to not wear a mask. There are a good amount of people out there now. Are they the majority? More than likely not. A lot of masked people are just insane about it. But there are a good amount of them, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them here are on that crowd. These are kids about my age. They couldn't be any older than about a year or so older or younger than me. Some of them are probably my age. And they're out here protesting. One thing I want to point out, though, is that there are parents there, too. Parents taking time out of their days when they would more than likely be working or something to come out and support their children or support the youth of their community, because the saying it goes, it takes a village, is true. These people are getting out there to support the next generation in their march to freedom. Because it's not just the truckers standing up. It's not just the people who are protesting in all these different capitals all across the world. It is the children just as much. And they're making their voices heard. It has been days, if not weeks now, over and over again, that kids have been coming out to stand up. I have plenty of other videos talking about this in which children are walking out of school or being relegated to the gym or one classroom in their school because they decided that standing for freedom was worth more than their right to an education. Standing for freedom is just as important as being educated by this government. And they're willing to fight for it and accept the consequences. Some kids have been suspended for standing up without masks. And another thing I want to point out, with every video of this that we see, there are maybe 5 other examples of this that have not been videoed and have not made it viral. So take it as you will, this video represents maybe 5 other schools of which walkouts have happened, that didn't have news stories about them, that didn't get videos taken of them, that didn't get wide blasted on the edge and then shared on the Chandler Brief right here, but have still made their voices heard. And believe it or not, those administrations are hearing it. Those administrators that run the schools and are adhering by the government and adhering by the medical this and that have heard them. And in some states, it has actually gotten things done. For instance, like we were just covering in Nevada, it is in response to the walkouts that happened, more than likely some of them in Nevada, but as well as across the entire United States and the world. It has been the truckers protesting in Ottawa, and now even France, Australia, New Zealand. It has been these massive movements of people standing up to take their lives back and regain their bodily autonomy that has inspired Virginia, Nevada, Saskatchewan in Canada, Alberta in Canada, to say enough is enough. These people clearly want their lives back, and we cannot survive another election cycle like this, and so they're giving them back. And it's only a matter of time before Justin Trudeau and the Premier of Ontario and anybody else, Joe Biden, who are still standing by these tyrannical mandates, to say, all right, we've tried, we stood up for as long as we can, but if we want to stay in power, or at least have a chance at the next election cycle, we need to give it up. In 2022, the November election cycle for this year is fastly approaching. The primaries are in only a couple of months. It is only a matter of time before people say, all right, either we step back, we roll these mandates back, or we're going to lose, and then the next people are going to roll the mandates back anyways, because the people that want their freedoms back aren't just protesters, aren't just children in the schools. It is your average everyday Americans who aren't like these parents who can show up at their children's schools or show up in their communities to make their voices heard, but make their voices heard in the voting booth. That could be any one of you that don't really have the time to get out there and protest at a school, or if you're a trucker, you don't really have the money and the savings or the community support to get out there and stop working for nearly 2 weeks and protest at your capital, but you listen to this show. You listen to this show on your long haul route through the middle of America or the middle of Canada. You listen to this show during your lunch break while you're, I don't know, filing somebody's taxes or doing anything. God knows what. Everybody has a different type of job while you're coding or something. Or maybe you're out there on the field building some project, because there are all sorts of people that do all sorts of different jobs and have all sorts of ideas and ideologies. You will make your voice heard when you vote to elect your next president. You vote to elect your next senator, your next representative. All these different offices mean something. Every single vote matters. That's why people care so much about election integrity, because without your voice mattering, that is how tyrants stay in power and stay empowering their will onto you to put the mask on your face and the vaccine in your arm. Now, whether you want either of those things is immaterial to the fact that these are your God-given, born rights to choose. These are your rights to choose for your own life. And that's why there are so many people standing up for it. Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative. Hell, even some socialists are standing up for it, because they too know that even if they're for seizing the means of production and giving the government a lot of power over the economy, they at least say, I don't want the government to be able to walk in my house, slap a cloth diaper on my face, and tell me I have no right. I would rather walk outside and drive in my car alone and say, you know what, I want to have a mask on my face, and have that freedom to do so. And I would stand by their right to do that. I would stand by it. Just like there are so many protesters still in the Ambassador Bridge, despite the fact that that is inside Windsor, Ontario, which is where a state of emergency has now been declared. Let's take a look at this.
And so do you get the sense something is in the air in terms of a crackdown? I see
Open this lane as a goodwill. I can't speak for them, but I overheard that it's a goodwill gesture. And in my opinion, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Very true. And actually, somebody was interviewing people who were at the bridge. Let's see if I can find that video. I think it's under this lady's stream. But yeah, so she was talking to people at the bridge as well to see what they believe.
Pretty serious here. I think it's absolutely disgusting that the premier would go against the people this way. These people, all they want is their freedom back. We want freedom mandated. They've been making Canadians and Ontarians suffer for 2 years now. Yeah. Why was it okay to shut businesses down before? Why was it okay to pull kids out of school before? And now you're going to talk about the economy because a few people are suffering for a few days? You've made people suffer for 2 years now.
Wow, she makes a really good point. They had their entire nation shut down for years now. Basically 2 years of all these COVID lockdowns and mask restrictions and vaccine mandates that are shuttering business. And you believe all these supply chain issues are coming from, the ships that just want to be out at bay? They don't want to dock and unload their cargo? No, it is COVID restrictions, and it is these people that are running things that are saying, no, put a stop to it, don't let it happen. But when we protest, and we have the truckers lining the Capitol streets, halting you from getting your Starbucks coffee because you have your own backwater way to do it when the rest of your Canadian and American people can't quite do it, you expect us to back down after 2 weeks? You didn't back down after 2 weeks. You said it was 2 weeks to stop the spread, and then what happened? It's been 2 years now. Itching our way up to 3 soon enough. Unless we do something about it now. And so that's why this strong and clearly Canadian lady, as you could hear her say a boot, I smiled when she said that because I love that. Clearly, these people are willing to stand up where these government people aren't quite willing to do it. Even those that we elect that we believe are on our side aren't being strong enough to actually take the freedoms back. So that's why people have to protest. That's why people have to post on social media and make their voices heard. That's why we have to embrace alternative social platforms like Rumble, of which we're having honestly a record-breaking day over on Rumble. Shout out to all you people over there. We're having a great time here because they have proven themselves to be what they are, and that is tyrants. Go Fraud Me stole millions of dollars from the Canadian truckers, stole millions of dollars from people like you that are watching, or ladies like this who are actually standing at the Ambassador Bridge blocking 25% of trade between Canada and America. They are making their voices heard. And people that wanted to support the people who were out there had their money stolen by GoFundMe. So thankfully, it was given back because we said, GoFundMe, if you don't do this, we will sue you. GoFundMe gave the money back. And now Give, Send, Go, an alternative to GoFundMe, just like Rumble is an alternative to YouTube, has now inspired people to donate up to $8 million and climbing. This is big. This is very big. And it is only getting bigger. It is only getting bigger. Now, another story I wanted to cover real quick, potentially one of our last stories of the day, is Joe Rogan. Just a little quick thing. There's a language warning for this. But one of the UFC fighters who apparently is close with Joe Rogan and also happens to be a black male has had a few things to say about Joe Rogan after people were saying things and asking him his opinion. Let's hear this.
And Dana, I had a question for you around Joe Rogan. There's been a lot of controversy with him.
First off, let me take this one. Hold up. I'm black. I can take this one. Look.
Okay. What were...
No. There's a lot of cunts in this game. There's a lot of snakes in this game. I've been in this fight game since 2008. And Joe Rogan is one of the nicest, coolest, humble motherfuckers I've had the pleasure of working with. Understand that? And it's just... Fuck the noise, man. You know what they're trying to do. You can't control the man, and he's got the biggest platform in the world right now. So that's my nigga, Joe Rogan. Fuck the noise.
Cancel culture can't stop it. And Lone Argos makes a good point. Give, Send, Go got blocked by a judge, but then Give, Send, Go confirmed it doesn't matter. Even those that are running the nation are trying to stop things, and they're trying to cancel people who are sharing their opinions, like Joe Rogan. He was the one out here supporting the mandates march. He was the one out here supporting people on his platform that were speaking their minds about the vaccines and the masks, and he was like, I will give you a platform, let's discuss this, let's have a debate. Because Joe Rogan isn't anti-vax or anything like that. He's just pro-freedom. He's made his voice heard. And now the mob tore him apart. They've torn apart basically everybody who tried to speak up about this. So I'm going to answer a few questions because it seems like we're receiving some. Free the Republic says, how old are you, Chandler? I turned 17 just a few months ago. Thank you for that question. Okay, very interesting. So Denna, I would love to talk some more about that. I probably cannot do it right now because we are streaming to YouTube, and YouTube will obliterate my channel for talking about that. But there's a lot more content coming very soon to my Rumble, so make sure you're subscribed for more content like that. And while we're at it, I want to remind you guys that this stream is, of course, 100% supported by viewers like you. This is a stream we do every day at 3 p.m., every weekday at 3 p.m. So you will see me once again next Monday at 3 Eastern, where we can talk about a lot more subjects, of course. We're limited by about a 30-minute time, but it appears we got all of our subjects in just about time. So I just want to mention to you guys, this stream is supported by viewers like you. So if you're interested in supporting my stream and my ability to continue to keep on all these platforms, then make sure you visit donorbox.org and consider a donation to support us. Also, if you're watching on Rumble, there's actually a super chat option on Rumble. It's the little money bag thing. In fact, I think I can show it real quick. It's this thing here. So if you're interested, you liked what we did here and you want to see a lot more of it, just hit this button and it works just like Super Chat. So thank you for that. And of course, I want to remind you guys once again, the stream is also sponsored by MyPillow. So if you're interested in getting an amazing discount on Giza Dream Sheets, all that is available in the description. Just go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP for 60% off of Giza Dream Sheets, and also amazing discounts on pretty much everything else they have. You can get these an amazingly comfortable MyPillow for $20, slippers, towels, mattresses, mattress toppers, all that cool stuff they have available over at mypillow.com. Great sleep. Let's see if I can get some more comments read. Loner Ghost says, I'm happy to see you have more people on Rumble than on YouTube. We need to ditch YouTube. Very true. I'm very happy with this. So to everybody watching on Rumble, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you once again next week at 3 p.m. right here back on Rumble. We have 200 people watching on Rumble, which is absolutely record-breaking, mind-bending. And to all my people watching over on YouTube as well, I want to remind you, if you're watching on the main channel, make sure you check out our alternative channel. We've got a few people on the main channel, but this channel and this episode will be the very last time you see us live on this channel. So after this, we will be available on this brand new channel right here called Crump Live. This is where we are right now. We've got a few people over here. So if you want to see us once again next week, this will be the last show available on this channel. Make sure you check us out on the brand new Crump Live channel. Aside from all that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It has been a great episode. Thank you guys so much for being here. A lot more content coming very soon. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace out, and see you next week. Will the Father